Let's go over the basic tools we'll be using in this course one by one. If this is your first time working with wool felt, don't worry, I'll walk you through everything step by step. Understanding your tools is the foundation of a smooth felting experience. First, let's start with felting needles. These are the essential tools for sculpting your wool into shape. We generally use 3 types: thick, medium, and fine needles. Each one has a specific purpose in the process. Thick needles are typically used early on, especially when forming the base structure. They allow you to attach large pieces of wool quickly, helping you build up volume. These needles felt loosely but fast, perfect for getting the general shape in place. They're also great for beginners because they require less precision. Once the form starts to take shape, we move on to the medium needle. This one gives a tighter, more compact felt and helps define contours. You'll find that it's ideal for sculpting cheekbones, eye sockets, or jawlines. We also use the medium needle when starting to work on facial features, like the nose and mouth. Finally, the fine needle is used toward the end, when we're working on the smallest details. It's perfect for refining the surface, smoothing texture, or adding gentle transitions. It's slower to felt, but gives you the most control. Think of it as your precision tool, like a brush for the finishing strokes. Everyone has their preferences, of course. Some artists stick to one needle type most of the time, while others switch frequently. Personally, I use the medium needle the most. It's versatile and reliable. Thick needles are now more of a backup in my kit, but I still reach for them occasionally. Now let's talk about needle holders, the tools that make our needles easier and safer to use. The single needle holder looks and feels like a wooden pen. It allows you to hold your needle more comfortably, reducing hand fatigue. To use it, you just insert the needle into the opening, push it in firmly, and it's ready. We call this a one-pin pen. It gives you maximum control, especially when working on fine shapes. Next, we have the 3-needle holder. It usually comes preloaded with 3 needles, but we often remove 1 or 2. Using 2 needles instead of 3 can offer better precision with a little more speed. This tool is great for medium-sized surfaces, not too large, not too fine. If a needle breaks, which can happen with heavy pressure or misalignment, you can easily replace it. One important thing to remember: always use the same type of needle in a multi-needle holder. Don't mix a thick needle with a fine one, it'll affect the way your wool compresses. Consistency is key to a clean and even felting surface. Also, inside the handle is a small metal plate or gasket that helps secure the needles. Be careful not to lose it when changing needles. There's also a 7-needle holder. This one is used for covering large areas quickly. For example, when felting the back of the head or the ears. It saves time but requires a softer touch to avoid damaging the surface. Now let's move on to the felting surface setup. We usually use a plastic brush base. It looks like a wide brush with firm bristles. This provides a stable surface and prevents your needle from bending or breaking. To protect both your brush and your wool, we always place a piece of woven cloth on top. It's usually gray, but white or black is fine too. Cut it to fit the size of your work surface and lay it flat. This cloth prevents wool from getting tangled in the bristles and keeps the fibers clean. Safety is super important, especially if you're new. Always wear finger guards when poking. They'll save you from painful accidents. Felting needles are barbed and incredibly sharp, and it only takes one slip to poke your fingertip. Getting into the habit of wearing protection will keep your sessions safe and enjoyable. Next, let's look at adhesives. We use alcohol-based glue to attach small parts like the eyes and nose. It dries quickly and holds well on wool surfaces without leaving visible residue. We also use a heat-erasable pen to draw guidelines. Any color works as long as it's not white, which may not erase cleanly. These pens are great for sketching face placements, stripes, or symmetry guides. After a short time, the lines fade naturally with heat or air. Now for cutting tools. Elbow scissors are our go-to. They're slightly curved, giving you more control while trimming fur. This is especially helpful when shaping cheeks, ears, or smoothing the body. For measurement, we use a caliper. It's useful when ensuring symmetry in features like the eyes or comparing ear length. The lower jaws measure outer width, while the upper ones are for inside dimensions. To weigh out the correct amount of wool, we use a digital scale, always measured in grams. This helps keep your proportions accurate, especially when following patterns or making multiple pieces. Positioning pins are another key tool. They help mark locations like where the ears should go. This ensures better alignment before you commit with a needle. Now let's talk about blending wool colors. To adjust the tone, we use a color mixing brush. For instance, if we're making a British shorthair, we may need a custom light gray. In that case, I'll mix standard gray with a bit of white, brushing them together until evenly blended. We also use a blending stick, like a paper stylus, to press pigment powder into specific areas. This helps add subtle shadows, blush tones, or eyeliner details. Once the base is complete, we use a combing brush to smooth the wool fibers. It helps eliminate any loose or uneven strands and prepares the surface for color finishing. Speaking of color, we often use soft pastel powders, pink for the nose, black or brown for shading, and sometimes warm tones for paws or the tongue. Apply them gently with a brush and blend for a soft, realistic effect. To finish areas like the nose or mouth, we apply a touch of clear varnish. It gives a moist, lifelike shine, not too glossy, just enough realism. For sculpted parts like the nose, tongue, or mouth interior, we often use soft polymer clay. It's easy to shape and can be tinted with pigment powder before baking or setting. We also use fabric, white cloth for covering your work surface, and black cloth as a backdrop inside frames. This helps highlight the colors of your sculpture when it's complete. For shaping features like the nose, we use a stylus or a fine metal carving tool. These help you press or etch lines into the wool or clay. To assemble the final display, we use a hot glue gun with glue sticks. For example, to attach the cat head securely to the display frame. Be sure to handle it carefully. The glue is strong, but also very hot. A quick tip: when opening the glass dome, never tear it open by hand. Use scissors to cut carefully around the edge and create a clean opening. Finally, let's look at the types of wool we use. We primarily use 3 kinds. The first is core wool, slightly yellow, rough in texture, and the most affordable. It felts quickly and is ideal for building base structures or internal volume. It's great for making paws, legs, or the overall body form. The second type is staple fiber wool, short and soft but prone to breakage. It's not great for structure, but useful in small details or layering. The third is long straight wool. It has strong, smooth fibers that are harder to break. We often trim this with scissors to control the length. It's great for surface layers, especially where clean texture is needed. And that wraps up all the essential tools and materials you'll need to get started. Once you're familiar with these, you'll find the entire felting process much easier and more enjoyable. Let's begin.